The cold vastness of space stretched endlessly before the Earth exploration vessel Stellar Dawn. Commander Susan Martinez stood at the bridge's main viewport, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling storms of Jupiter in the distance. After 6 months of routine patrol and exploration duty, the crew had settled into a comfortable rhythm of scanning, documenting, and analyzing the outer solar system. "Commander, we're picking up something unusual," Lieutenant Steve Carter called from his sensor station. His fingers moved swiftly across the holographic display. "It's metallic, about the size of a small shuttle, and it's not matching any known human designs." Martinez turned away from the viewport, her interest piqued. "Show me." The main screen lit up with a three-dimensional image of an object that looked like a sleek, silvery teardrop. It tumbled slowly through space, occasional pulses of faint blue light emanating from its surface. "That's definitely not one of ours," Martinez said, leaning forward. "How did it get past our early warning systems?" "Unknown, Ma'am," Carter replied. "But it's broadcasting something. Weak signal, but it's there." "Get me a closer look," Martinez ordered. "And someone wake up Dr. Clark from engineering. We might need her expertise on this." The Stellar Dawn's engines hummed to life as they adjusted course. Within an hour, they had matched speed with the mysterious object. Dr. Alice Clark, the ship's lead engineer, arrived on the bridge, still pulling on her uniform jacket. "Well, this is different," Clark said, studying the readings. "The metal composition isn't anything we've seen before. And look at these energy signatures. They're completely alien to our technology." Martinez felt a chill run down her spine. After decades of space exploration, humanity had never encountered definitive proof of alien life. Until now. "Can we bring it aboard?" she asked. Clark nodded slowly. "The cargo bay should be large enough, but I recommend maximum containment protocols." The next few hours were a blur of activity. The object was carefully brought aboard using the ship's tractor beams, sealed in a containment field, and surrounded by sensors and scanning equipment. The entire crew buzzed with excitement and apprehension. Dr. Clark led the initial examination, her team working methodically to understand the device. "Commander," she called after several hours, "you need to see this." Martinez entered the cargo bay to find the object had changed. Its surface now displayed shifting patterns of light, forming what appeared to be text in various alien scripts. "It's a message pod," Clark explained, "and it's responding to our presence. The universal translation algorithms are starting to make sense of it." The first translated message appeared on their screens, and the excitement in the room turned to confusion, then concern. "Warning to all SPACEFARING species. Avoid human space. Their war capabilities exceed safe parameters." More messages followed, each from a different alien civilization, all carrying similar warnings about humanity's dangerous nature. Martinez ordered immediate transmission of their findings to Earth Command. Within days, representatives from every major space force gathered at the Lunar Command Center. The chamber was filled with military officers, scientists, and government officials, all trying to make sense of the discovery. Admiral Paul Henderson stood at the podium, his weathered face grave. "The probe contains messages from 27 distinct alien civilizations. Each one warns others about humanity's unique approach to warfare and conflict." Lieutenant Peter Brown, the young linguistics expert who had helped decode the later messages, stepped forward. "What's most interesting is that they're not just afraid of our technology. They're afraid of how we think, how we adapt. One message specifically mentions our ability to turn defensive technologies into offensive ones, and vice versa." The room erupted in murmurs. Dr. Sarah Adams, a renowned xenobiologist, spoke up. "But we've never even encountered alien life before. How could they know about our warfare capabilities?" "That's what worries me," Brown replied. "These messages suggest we've been watched, studied, for possibly hundreds of years, and something about us terrifies them. Martinez, who had been invited to the meeting, listened intently. Her discovery had opened a door that couldn't be closed. Humanity had not only confirmed the existence of alien life, but learned that they were feared throughout the galaxy. Admiral Henderson called for order. Our immediate priority is understanding the full content of these messages and preparing for possible contact. If we're being watched, we need to be ready. Sir, Martinez interjected, there's something else. The probe's data suggests there are alien observation posts throughout our solar system. We've been looking right at them, but we never recognized what they were. The implications were staggering. Humanity had never been alone. They had been observed, analyzed, and deemed too dangerous to approach. The question now was why. As the meeting continued into the night, more revelations emerged. The probe contained tactical analyses of human conflicts throughout history, from ancient battles to modern space warfare simulations. The aliens seemed particularly fascinated by humanity's ability to rapidly develop new strategies and countermeasures. Look at this, Brown said, displaying a translated segment. They're amazed that we can think both defensively and offensively at the same time. Apparently, most species excel at one or the other, but not both. Martinez felt a mix of pride and concern. Humanity's greatest strength, their adaptability, was also what made them feared. The probe had turned their understanding of their place in the universe upside down. The meeting concluded with the formation of a new task force. Their mission, to prepare humanity for their new reality as a feared power in the galaxy. Martinez was assigned to lead the search for alien observation posts, while Brown would continue decoding the probe's messages. As Martinez prepared to return to the stellar dawn, Admiral Henderson pulled her aside. This changes everything, Susan. We're not alone in the universe, and we're not welcome. Be careful out there. She nodded, understanding the weight of their discovery. As she walked through the lunar base's corridors, Martinez couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lurked in the darkness of space. The probe was just the beginning. Humanity's true test was yet to come. The stellar dawn departed the next day. Its mission now focused on locating alien observation posts. As they left Earth's orbit, Martinez stood at her familiar spot by the viewport. The stars seemed different now, knowing they weren't just distant lights, but homes to civilizations that feared humanity's very nature. Ready to make history again, Commander? Carter asked from his station. Martinez smiled slightly. History's already been made, Lieutenant. Now we need to figure out what to do with it. The ship accelerated into the darkness, carrying its crew toward an uncertain future. The galaxy was watching, waiting to see what humanity would do next. And for the first time, they knew they weren't alone in the cosmic dance. They were the partners that everyone feared to dance with. Research specialist Amy Wright sat in her dimly lit office at the Lunar Archives, surrounded by holographic displays showing star charts and ancient stellar records. For 3 weeks straight, she had been analyzing data recovered from the alien probe, searching for patterns that might explain why advanced civilizations feared humanity so much. Look at this, she muttered to herself, enlarging a section of space near Alpha Centauri. The record showed multiple instances of alien vessels deliberately altering their courses to avoid Earth's sector, some dating back centuries. She took another sip of her coffee, her tired eyes fixed on the dancing lights before her. A knock on her door broke her concentration. Commander John Phillips stood in the doorway, his Space Force uniform crisp despite the late hour. "Any breakthrough?" he asked, stepping into the office. "More than I expected," Amy replied, gesturing to the displays. "These aren't just random flight patterns. They're organized retreats. Every major alien civilization has been actively avoiding us for at least 300 years. Phillips studied the data with interest. His next mission would take him to the edges of the solar system, investigating a mysterious signal detected in the Kuiper Belt. "Show me what you found." Amy pulled up a timeline of Earth's major conflicts, overlaying it with alien observation records. "See these spikes in activity? They correspond perfectly with our world wars, the Cold War, and our first steps into space. Every time humanity showed significant military advancement, alien activity around our solar system increased. But why just watch? Why not make contact? Phillips wondered aloud. That's the interesting part, Amy said, bringing up another display. According to these records, we're the only known species that developed space travel while still engaged in active conflicts. Most civilizations achieve unity before reaching the stars. Their discussion was interrupted by an urgent message from Mission Control. The signal from the Kuiper Belt had grown stronger, and Philip's mission was being moved up. Keep digging, he told Amy. We need to understand our place in this galaxy. 2 days later, Philip stood on the bridge of the starship Northern Light as they approached the source of the mysterious signal. The Kuiper Belt's frozen bodies drifted around them like silent sentinels. Signal source is just ahead, Commander, reported Lieutenant Laura Miller from her navigation station. It's coming from that large asteroid. As they drew closer, the asteroid's surface seemed to shimmer. Suddenly, sections of it began to disappear, revealing the structure underneath. The crew watched in amazement as an alien observation post materialized before their eyes. Stealth technology, Phillips breathed. They've been here all along. The post appeared abandoned, its dark corridors empty of life. Phillips led a team aboard, their suits equipped with universal translators. The station's archives were intact, containing centuries of observations about human development. This is incredible, said Chief Science Officer Kevin Baker, examining the alien computers. They've been studying every aspect of our military evolution. Look at these analyses of our combat tactics. The team spent hours downloading data from the station's computers. Each new file revealed more about how aliens viewed humanity. They had recorded everything. Military exercises, space defense installations, even children playing war games in schoolyards. Back on the Northern Light, Phillips reviewed the findings with his crew. They're not just afraid of our weapons, he explained. They're afraid of how quickly we adapt and innovate in combat situations. Most species take decades to develop new military strategies. We do it in months, sometimes weeks. The ship's communication officer, Maria Foster, spoke up. Sir, I found something in their tactical assessments. They seem particularly concerned about something they call the human paradox, our ability to be both extremely violent and deeply compassionate. Phillips nodded thoughtfully. That matches what Amy found in the probe data. We're unpredictable by their standards. We can switch from peace to war and back again faster than they can comprehend. The Northern Lights discovery sparked a flurry of activity throughout human space. More observation posts were found, each containing valuable information about alien civilizations and their view of humanity. At the Lunar Archives, Haney received the new data with excitement. She immediately noticed connections to her earlier research. The posts weren't just watching us, she explained to her colleagues. They were studying our responses to different situations, trying to predict how we would behave once we discovered we weren't alone. The information painted a complex picture. Humanity's warlike nature wasn't unique in the galaxy, but their approach to warfare was. Unlike other species, humans had developed both defensive and offensive capabilities simultaneously. They could switch tactics instantly, turning defense into attack, or vice versa with natural ease. Look at this assessment, Amy said, displaying an alien analysis of Earth's military history. They're amazed by our concept of guerrilla warfare. The idea of a smaller force adapting to defeat a larger one seems to terrify them. The revelations continued as more data was processed. Alien civilizations had watched human conflicts with a mixture of horror and fascination. They noted humanity's rapid technological advancement, their ability to unite against common threats while maintaining internal competitions, and their unpredictable nature in both peace and war. Commander Phillips returned to Earth with the Northern Lights findings, immediately meeting with military leadership. The observation post had detailed files on every major human conflict since the American Civil War, he reported. They've been analyzing our every move, trying to understand our military thinking. The implications were clear. Humanity wasn't just another spacefaring race. They were an anomaly, a species that had developed space travel while still maintaining military capabilities that frightened even advanced civilizations. As Amy continued her research, she found evidence that some alien species had advocated for early intervention in human development. These proposals had been rejected out of fear that humanity would adapt to any interference and become even more dangerous. "We've been living in a galactic zoo," she told Phillips during one of their regular meetings. "They've been watching us, studying us, all while hoping we wouldn't notice them." Phillips looked out the window at the Earth hanging in the black sky. "And now we have noticed them. The question is, what do we do with this knowledge?" Amy pulled up one final piece of data, a recent analysis from the observation post. According to this, they're most afraid of what happens next. Now that we know about them, they're terrified of how we'll react. The revelation of humanity's unique position in the galaxy changed everything. They were feared not for their technology or their weapons, but for their very nature, their ability to adapt, to think both defensively and offensively, to wage war while seeking peace. As night fell on the lunar base, Amy stood with Phillips at the observation deck, watching Earth rotate slowly below them. The weight of their discoveries hung heavy in the air. "We're not the strongest or the most advanced," Amy said quietly. "We're just the most unpredictable." Phillips nodded. And in the galaxy, unpredictability might be the greatest power of all. The stars seemed to shine brighter that night, each one potentially hiding alien civilizations that watched and waited, wondering what humanity would do next. The hidden history they had uncovered was just the beginning. The real question was what future they would write in the stars. The massive Galactic Council chamber stretched high above Ambassador Kate Miller's head, its crystalline walls reflecting the light of 3 artificial suns. As Earth's first official representative to the Council, she stood calmly at the speaker's platform, though her heart raced beneath her formal diplomatic uniform. Thousands of alien representatives filled the chamber's ascending rings, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of colors and shapes. Many shifted uncomfortably as Miller began her presentation on humanity's peaceful intentions. "We come seeking friendship and understanding," she said, her voice carried clearly by the chamber's translation field. "Earth wishes to join the galactic community as equals." A tall, silvery being named Zixtal rose from the primary council seat. "Ambassador Miller, your words speak of peace, yet your species' history tells a different story. How can we trust a race that thrives on conflict?" Miller had expected this question. "Every species has a history of conflict," she replied. "What matters is how we choose to move forward." The chamber erupted in murmurs. A reptilian delegate named Soren hissed, "But no species maintains active military forces after achieving space travel. It goes against all civilized behavior." In the observation gallery, Intelligence Officer Frank Thompson watched the proceedings with growing concern. His team had spent months analyzing alien cultural data, and everything pointed to a deep-seated fear of human unpredictability. The council meeting continued for hours, with delegate after delegate expressing concerns about human military capabilities. Miller handled each question diplomatically, but she could sense the underlying tension growing. During a brief recess, Thompson approached Miller in the private Earth delegation chamber. "They're more afraid than we thought," he said, showing her his latest analysis. "Their neural patterns show extreme stress responses whenever military topics come up." Miller studied the data on his tablet. "Even when we're discussing defensive capabilities." "Especially then," Thompson replied. "According to my research, most species specialize in either attack or defense. Our ability to do both effectively terrifies them." The council reconvened with a presentation on galactic trade routes. Everything went smoothly until a human cargo ship's defensive capabilities were mentioned. Several delegates immediately called for restrictions on human vessels. "These ships carry minimal point defense systems," Miller explained patiently. They're purely for protection against space debris and pirates. But they could be modified for offensive use," called out a floating gas-based being. "We've studied your adaptation capabilities. Any defensive technology in human hands becomes a potential weapon." More delegates began withdrawing their diplomatic missions from Earth space. The Earth Embassy on the Galactic Council Station, once bustling with curious alien diplomats, grew quieter each day. Thompson's team monitored the situation from their office in the embassy. "Look at this," he told his assistant, Ben Rogers, pointing to a security feed. "They're actually installing additional barriers between the human section and other species' quarters." "Are we really that scary?" Rogers asked, watching alien maintenance crews working on the new security measures. "To them, we're unpredictable," Thompson explained. "While they see warfare as either offensive or defensive, we switch between the two naturally. It's like playing a game where one player can change the rules mid-move." Meanwhile, Miller worked tirelessly to maintain diplomatic relations. She organized cultural exchange programs, shared Earth's art and music, and emphasized humanity's peaceful achievements. Some younger alien diplomats showed interest, but the older, more influential council members remained wary. During one particularly tense session, a diplomatic incident nearly sparked a crisis. A human cultural display included children playing chess, and several alien delegates became visibly distressed. "Even your younglings are trained in warfare simulation," accused a crystalline being named Vexre. Miller maintained her composure. "Chess is a game of strategy, not a war simulation. It teaches logical thinking and planning." "Precisely our concern," Vexre responded. "Your species treats warfare as a game, a puzzle to be solved. You find it entertaining." The situation deteriorated further when news arrived of a human merchant ship successfully defending itself against pirates in the Outer Rim. While humans celebrated the crew's quick thinking, the Council saw it as proof of their fears. The vessel transformed a mining laser into a weapon within minutes, one delegate reported fearfully. "Such adaptation speed is unprecedented." Miller met with her team to discuss the growing crisis. "We need to find a way to make them understand that our adaptability isn't a threat," she said, pacing their office. Thompson looked up from his data terminal. "Maybe we're approaching this wrong. Instead of trying to convince them we're not dangerous, we should show them how our capabilities can benefit the galaxy." "How do you suggest we do that?" Miller asked. "By demonstrating that the same traits they fear make us excellent peacekeepers," Thompson replied. "Our ability to think both defensively and offensively makes us uniquely suited to prevent conflicts." Miller considered this idea. It was risky. Acknowledging human military capabilities might frighten the Council further, but pretending these abilities didn't exist clearly wasn't working. The next day, Miller addressed the Council again. This time, she took a different approach. "Yes, humanity is adaptable," she admitted openly. "Yes, we can think both defensively and offensively. But these traits allow us to understand conflict from all angles, and therefore, to prevent it more effectively." The chamber fell silent. For the first time, the delegates seemed to be truly listening. "We don't seek to dominate or threaten," Miller continued. "We seek to protect, to defend, to keep peace. Our understanding of conflict makes us better peacekeepers, not conquerors." While many delegates remained skeptical, a few began to see the logic in her words. The following weeks saw a slight thaw in diplomatic relations, though tensions remained high. Thompson's team continued monitoring alien responses, noting a gradual shift in perception. "They're still afraid," he told Miller, "but some are beginning to see our adaptability as a potential asset rather than just a threat." As the Earth delegation prepared for another round of negotiations, Miller stood at her office window, watching the strange alien ships dock at the station. The path to acceptance would be long and challenging, but humanity had taken its first steps toward finding their place in the galactic community. Perhaps, she thought, being feared isn't the worst thing, as long as we can show them why they should respect us too. Dr. Linda Harrison sat hunched over her desk in the Xenological Research Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing alien historical records. Her eyes were tired from weeks of analyzing data, but she couldn't stop. The truth about humanity's unique position in the galaxy was finally coming together. "Got another one," she muttered, marking down another reference. The pattern was becoming clearer with each new record she decoded. For 3 months straight, she had been studying the massive data dump from various alien archives, trying to understand why advanced civilizations feared humans so much. A soft chime announced the arrival of Commander Mary Stewart. The decorated Space Force officer had just returned from an incident that had sent shockwaves through the galactic community. "Your report came at the perfect time," Mary said, pulling up a chair. "The aliens are still talking about what happened at Delta Station." Linda nodded, bringing up her latest findings. "What you did out there proves my theory. Look at these records. In 10,000 years of galactic history, no other species has ever handled a crisis the way humans do." The incident at Delta Station had started as a routine piracy problem. A group of raiders had taken over the remote research station, holding its alien crew hostage. Commander Stewart's response had shocked everyone. "You used their own security systems against them," Linda said, reviewing the report. "The aliens can't understand how you thought of that so quickly." Mary shrugged. It seemed obvious. The pirates had locked down the station's defensive grid, so we reconfigured the atmospheric scrubbers to deploy a non-lethal gas. Basic tactical thinking. "That's just it," Linda explained, pulling up more data. "For other species, it's not basic at all. Look at these combat records. Every other civilization specializes in specific types of warfare. They either focus on defense or offense, never both." The screens filled with examples. Species after species showed remarkable capabilities in one area, but struggled to adapt when facing unexpected situations. Humans, on the other hand, seemed to switch strategies naturally. Here's a quote from an alien military observer, Linda read. "The humans treat combat like a fluid dance, shifting between attack and defense without pause. It is beautiful and terrifying to witness." Mary leaned forward, interested. "So when I turned the station's life support into a weapon, you did something they consider impossible," Linda finished. "You took a purely defensive system and made it offensive, all while ensuring no one got hurt. It's exactly the kind of adaptation they fear most." The research center's main hall was quiet as they discussed the implications. Linda's team had uncovered evidence that humanity's approach to conflict was unique in the galaxy. While other species evolved through specialization, humans developed as generalists. "Look at this analysis of Earth's military history," Linda said, bringing up another display. "Other species can't understand how we can have such bitter internal conflicts, yet unite instantly against external threats. They can't grasp how we can fight wars while advancing medicine, or develop weapons while creating art." The door slid open as Dr. Richard Palmer, the center's chief sinologist, joined them. "The latest data from the Centauri sector just came in," he announced. "You're going to want to see this." The new information revealed another aspect of alien fear. It wasn't just humanity's military capabilities that frightened them. It was their ability to learn from defeat. Most species, when beaten, either surrendered or kept trying the same tactics. Humans analyzed their failures and adapted. "There's a fascinating report here from an alien observer during Earth's Second World War," Richard said, highlighting a section. They were amazed at how quickly military tactics evolved. Tank warfare, air combat, naval strategies, all changing and improving in real time. Linda added this to her growing database of evidence. The truth was becoming clear. Humanity wasn't feared for their technology or their weapons, but for their unique way of thinking. "We're problem solvers," she explained. "Where other species see systems as fixed, we see possibilities. A defense grid can become a weapon can become a tool, and a tool can become anything we need it to be." Commander Stewart thought about her experiences in space. "That's why they were so shocked when we started modifying alien technology as soon as we got it. We don't just use things, we reimagine them. The confirmation of Linda's theories had immediate effects throughout human space. Military leaders began to understand why their presence caused such anxiety among alien species. Even peaceful human activities were seen as potentially threatening because of this adaptability. But here's what really interests me, Linda said, pulling up one final set of data. Some younger alien civilizations are starting to see our adaptability as an asset. They're watching how we handle problems and learning from us. The Delta Station incident had become a perfect example. While older alien species recoiled at Commander Stewart's unconventional tactics, newer spacefaring races studied the operation with interest. They saw the value in human flexibility. We're not just warriors or peacekeepers, Linda explained. We're innovators. We look at problems from angles other species don't consider. That's what makes us different. As evening fell at the research center, Linda finished compiling her report. The truth about humanity's place in the galaxy was both simpler and more complex than anyone had imagined. They weren't the strongest, the most advanced, or the most numerous species, but they were the most adaptable. So what do we do with this knowledge? Mary asked as they prepared to leave. Linda smiled. We do what humans have always done. We adapt. Now that we understand why we're feared, we can work to show the galaxy that our adaptability isn't just about warfare. It's about survival, growth, and finding new solutions to old problems. The stars shone brightly through the center's dome as they walked out. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations were still watching, still trying to understand these strange, adaptable creatures called humans. But now, for the first time, humans truly understood themselves. The truth isn't that we're dangerous, Linda said, looking up at the stars. The truth is that we're different. And different doesn't have to mean dangerous. Commander Stewart nodded. Maybe that's the real lesson here. We don't need to change who we are. We just need to help them understand us better. Captain Daniel White stood on the bridge of the Earth ship Peacekeeper, watching as his crew worked alongside alien engineers to construct the galaxy's first joint defense station. 6 months ago, such cooperation would have seemed impossible. Now, it represented humanity's changing role in galactic society. The Zentari engineers are impressed with your shield modifications, Lieutenant Rita Brown reported, handing him a datapad. They say they never considered using defensive systems in that way. White nodded, studying the blueprints. His team had shown how Earth's defensive technologies could be adapted to protect against solar radiation, making deep space construction safer for all species. It was exactly the kind of peaceful innovation that was slowly changing alien perceptions of humanity. Have the Loraxians arrived with the power core? He asked. Just docked, Rita confirmed. They're still nervous about working with us, but they can't deny our efficiency. The construction project had started as a simple defense platform. Under White's leadership, it had evolved into something more, a symbol of how human adaptability could benefit everyone. In the station's main assembly area, alien crews watched in fascination as human engineers demonstrated their problem-solving abilities. When traditional methods failed, the humans simply created new ones, often combining technologies in ways no one had considered before. Your species continues to surprise us, said Senva, the Zentari chief engineer. You take separate pieces and make them work together in new ways. White smiled. That's what humans do best. We see connections others might miss. Back on Earth, the Galactic Relations Council was meeting to discuss humanity's evolving role in space. Admiral Helen Carter addressed the assembled delegates, both human and alien. 6 months ago, most species feared our military capabilities, she said. Today, they're beginning to understand that the same skills that make us effective warriors also make us excellent peacekeepers. The evidence was clear. Human-designed defense systems were being adopted throughout the galaxy. Their ability to adapt and improve existing technologies had made space travel safer for everyone. Even former critics had to admit that human innovation had its benefits. On the frontier, where piracy and smuggling had once been common, Human patrol ships worked alongside alien peacekeepers. Their unconventional tactics and quick thinking had reduced criminal activity by 60%. The humans think differently, a Loraxian captain had reported to his superiors. When we see a barrier, they see a puzzle to solve. When we see a fixed system, they see possibilities for change. The transformation wasn't instant or complete. Many older species still maintained their distance from Earth ships, and some trading routes remained closed to human vessels. But the fear was slowly being replaced by cautious respect. Captain White's success at the Defense Station project led to more joint ventures. Human engineers were invited to help upgrade alien facilities. Their fresh perspectives often found solutions that had eluded others for years. It's not just about military thinking, White explained to a group of alien observers. It's about seeing problems from multiple angles. The same skills that help us adapt in combat also help us build better shields, safer ships, and stronger communities. The station's construction continued ahead of schedule. Each day brought new examples of how humanity's unique abilities could benefit everyone. When a power coupling failed, human engineers quickly repurposed mining equipment to keep construction going. When radiation levels spiked unexpectedly, they modified cargo shields to protect the workers. "You made that look easy," Senva commented after one such incident. "Not easy," White replied. "Just necessary. When something needs to be done, humans find a way to do it." On Earth, more alien delegations began arriving, not to watch for signs of aggression, but to learn. They studied how humans solved problems, how they adapted to challenges, and how they turned obstacles into opportunities. The old fear never completely disappeared, but it changed into something more complex. Alien civilizations began to understand that humanity's adaptability was a tool, neither good nor evil on its own. What mattered was how it was used. "We're not trying to dominate the galaxy," Admiral Carter told the Council. "We're trying to make it better, safer, more efficient, and we can do that better together than apart." The defense station neared completion, its sleek form representing the best of multiple species working together. Human innovation had combined with alien technology to create something entirely new, much like humanity's role in the galaxy itself. Captain White stood in the station's observation dome, watching stars drift past. Rita joined him, carrying the latest reports. "The Galactic Council is calling this a new era," she said. "They're starting to see us as mediators, problem solvers. Better than being seen as threats," White replied. "Though I suspect some will always fear what we might become." "Maybe that's not such a bad thing," Rita suggested. "A little caution keeps everyone honest." The station's lights came on, section by section, as systems powered up for the first time. Human and alien crews worked side by side, each contributing their unique strengths to the project. "We're not what they feared we were," White said quietly, "but we're also not quite what they hoped we'd be. We're just human, for better or worse." As the station hummed to life around them, White reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not by changing who they were, but by showing others how their unique abilities could benefit everyone. The stars continued their eternal dance outside the station's windows. Somewhere out there, other species were still watching, still learning, still trying to understand these strange, adaptable creatures called humans. But now they watched not with fear, but with growing curiosity and cautious hope. "Ready for the next project?" Rita asked. White nodded. "Always. That's the human way. Keep moving forward, keep adapting, keep improving. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone." The new balance of power wasn't about strength or dominance. It was about finding ways to work together, to combine different perspectives and abilities for the common good. And in that balance, humanity had finally found its true place among the stars.